Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Austrian alto, soprano, and tenor saxophonist, along with being a singer and composer, Muriel Grossman. She was born in Paris and grew up in Vienna, where she initiated classical studies of flute at the age of 5 until she was 21, when she switched to alto and soprano sax. Over the years, she has played and toured with various rhythm and blues bands, funk, world music, and jazz groups, along with many artists. In 2002, she moved to Barcelona, where she started to lead her own bands for recordings and concerts. These days, she is back in Austria and is in the middle of very fruitful recording and performing sessions. So please get to know her and dig this interview, my friends. Thank you for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for inviting me.
Let's hop right in and talk about your latest album. Talk to me about this project.
We're actually very happy because I got it actually now in my hands. It was shipped today, and it's a double vinyl that was brought out by RR Gems Records. And it's actually my first vinyl to bring out, so I'm really happy about that, because normally I bring out my albums in a format of CD. So this is some great news for me. This was recorded with my latest quartet, with a quartet, actually my actual quartet, that I'm playing now already several years with, since 2014. It's actually the third album of this quartet, and you could even say that it's a kind of trilogy, yeah? The first was Natural Time, second was Momentum, and this is Golden Rule, and you can really see it developing, yeah? So it's a music that we call spiritual jazz because it's most closely it can be recognized as most closely related to spiritual jazz. Well, it's really exciting to work with this quartet since we're now so many years together, and we can say that it's now really we're good played together, yeah? Well, this album was very exciting for me because I think it's actually a culmination of the others, yeah? It is very energetic, yeah? Well, it tells a story. I mean, actually all my albums tell kind of a story because they're all like suites and stuff, but I think you should all listen to it to be able to talk about it also, and to hear that what I feel. It's very difficult to explain.
What I was going to do, I just kind of wanted to get your general feelings on the new project, but what I kind of want to do, and I'll rotate back around to this, is get a general idea of your life. You were born in Paris, you grew up in Vienna, you had classical studies on the flute, and then you switched to saxophone later in your life. So I just kind of want to talk to you about growing up and how you got involved with jazz specifically.
I was born to Austrian parents, and I was born in Paris, and then I moved to Austria, and my father was having a huge collection of vinyls, but they were mostly classical, yeah? There was some Louis Armstrong in there, but mostly he listened to classical, but so that means that I was constantly hearing that music, yeah? Because he was really a lover of big orchestras, and so he had this music system in every room of the house, and I was constantly listening to that. So I started to choose from that out. Started to choose the flute, and I went with that quite a long time. And also this brought me also to always have friends that were interested in music. Yeah. In the beginning, of course, I was not so much listening to jazz. When I was younger, I was listening to all sorts of music, Frank Zappa or whatever, the Beatles, you know. But later on, we started to go into the rehearsing rooms, you know, or just play together. And well, it developed kind of, I was kind of limited with a flute. And a friend of mine, she had a saxophone, and when I just tried it, I was totally in love with it, and it was not until 21 that I really had one on my own, yeah. And from that moment on, I was learning mostly by listening to albums, and I would play to it. Then, of course, since the saxophone is very closely, well, it's a very expressive instrument. It's a it's a jazz instrument, right? So then I was starting to listen to jazz albums, and especially also because all my friends at that time already studying, they were actually all musicians. And so then I just started to, from playing to the records, to go to the rehearsing room, and I was playing with all sorts of bands. At that time it was rhythm and blues and world music and all sorts of bands, really. And then at one point I had a jazz trio. From that on, I was kind of getting, let's say, really into it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: why do you love jazz? Why is it that jazz has made so much sense to you?
It is just a way that you can express yourself so freely. The structures are not so fixed, yeah. And I really love improvisation. I really love it. And then also, I'm especially a fan of swing. Yeah, I'm the fan of this phrasing and the possibility of a swing rhythm, yeah, that it swings and that there is the blues, yeah, involved. So for me, that's the speciality. Well, at least for me, yeah, that's what jazz is. It's this great rhythm that always makes you feel happy, and then you can explore and explore and explore, and you can really find out what is that, what you want to say, and you just go deeper and deeper, and well, I think it's this possibility to exploration that really draws me to jazz.
So you moved to Barcelona in 2002. You start getting into a really serious recording period in your life around 2004. So we're talking about, going on 16, 17 years here of this. How do you feel right now about your career and your recordings and your evolution as an artist?
I actually feel really good because I can say that it was like a building, you start with the basement and this has to be like the foundation, you have to really have a good, for me it was wielding it, how you say, or really working on the foundation, and then you can just add up on it and explore more. So for me this was incredible. Moving to Barcelona and meeting Radomir, yeah, that's my guitar player. With him I have a really close musical relationship. We are actually working together since 2002. We are equally fascinated by the same music, yeah, and I always was really composing a lot, and he was fascinated by my compositions, and so we just started to work on them together, and we formed the first quartet, and the first quartet was really so really first we played in duo, yeah, and we explored in duo, but then when we had our first quartet around 2007, yeah, I call it the Barcelona quartet. There we really got into deep explorations about my compositions. Yeah, I actually started to compose when I always composed, yeah, but I started to compose really a lot when I met the jazz legend Joachim Kuhn. So I met him already in. I'm sorry, I'm jumping back and forth. So after Barcelona, I was going to Ibiza, and I was really fascinated by that island. And on this island, there lives Joachim Kuhn, and he's a jazz legend, a German jazz pianist, incredible person, and I get to know him, and I got to really play on sessions with him, and he plays also the saxophone. So it was this steaming sessions with a lot of musicians, a lot of percussion players, a lot of like drummers and percussion players, and he playing the saxophone and me playing the saxophone, and it was incredible steaming time, yeah. And from that, and meeting him, and he's so explorative person, I really got into a different style, let's say, of composing, and it made an explosion in me, and I just composed, and then with these compositions, with my first quartet, I could really elaborate on them, and it was kind of going further and further, and it was a great time, really. I mean, until now, actually, it's like that I'm composing and I'm elaborating and we're playing it live and I'm composing more, and I'm actually really happy about how it all went together. Who would have said that? Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's the future look like for you? Are you going to keep on doing what you're doing? Or are there big plans, or just how do you see that?
Well, for me, I think I will just keep on because there's a lot of still albums to bring out. Yeah, a lot of albums that are still only on my computer that have to be brought out, and then always every year there's more recordings, and I have really a lot of ideas. So right now I'm in the quartet, but I cannot say what's going to be really in the future. I mean, the quartet is now, for now, a very good format for me. Yeah, but of course, if there would be the possibility, I would expand it. Yeah, why not? Because I have a lot of ideas for that. It's possible. I mean, I love orchestra, so you never know. Maybe I get one time the chance to compose for a big orchestra. So I cannot really say how it's going, because everything depends always on the steps you make at the time. Yeah, but I can definitely say that I'm just gonna move on doing what I'm doing.
Right on. So let me ask you this: everyone has a perception of who you are. Your family, your friends, your fans, but you know who you are. So tell me, who do you think you are?
Oh my God. Yeah. So I think I'm a really energetic person. Yeah, with a lot of love for good music. A real lot of love for music. Yeah. So I think this combination of energy, I kind of also have really a lot of ideas. Yeah. So that can propel me forward. Yeah. So, well, I think I'm also an energetic player on stage. So for me, it's just exploring more and more. Yeah, maybe that I could say.
I wanted to get back around. That was technically my last question, but I have one more, and I want to talk about the new album. And my question is this: instead of getting into specifics of songs and certain specifics of the album, I just want to know from you, what do you want the listener to get from this latest work? How do you want them to feel about this album when they listen to it?
Well, I would wish that they could listen to it with open ears, yeah, and then they could maybe hear what I'm hearing in it, yeah, because I've really composed and we're playing it from the depths of our heart, and in the back of my mind is always that I would love to be able to transform people through my music. Yeah, so how could this look like? Maybe that somebody really says, oh, I also want to do what I really feel like, or that somebody says, oh, this gives me so much peace and I want to have peace in my life. And I definitely would wish that those what is behind that album, like let's say what propulses me to write in such way, yeah, because it's really meant to be able to transform for the better, and that I would really wish to see in my listeners. Yeah,
beautiful.
That they feel good. Yeah,
I think they'll get that. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thank you for taking a minute out today to talk to Neon Jazz. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Joe, for your beautiful program and for your time, too.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Paris, Austria, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Muriel for her time and her music. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. For everything Neon Jazz, go to theneonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.